Australia's economy is growing. The headlines say so. The government says so. But divide that growth by the number of people sharing it, and a different picture emerges. Per person, Australia has been getting poorer for most of the last 3 years. And last week, the former governor of the Reserve Bank said publicly what economists have increasingly been warning. Australia is heading for its weakest decade of living standards growth since World War I. This is AxisShift. And before this video ends, you'll understand why the number that actually measures your life is not GDP. It is GDP per person. And that number is heading in the wrong direction. Let's start with the data. Since 2020, GDP per person in Australia has grown at just 0.7% per year. That is the lowest rate of any decade on record, roughly 1/3 of the pace recorded during the 1990s, when the economy was supposedly struggling. Here is the paradox that explains everything. The pie is growing, but the number of people at the table is growing faster. Australia has been adding people at one of the fastest rates in the developed world. In the 12 months to May 2026, roughly 500,000 new arrivals joined a country whose housing stock, transport networks, and public services were already under strain. More people competing for the same homes, the same hospitals, the same roads. When you spread economic output across a rapidly growing population, the slice each person receives gets smaller, even when the total economy is expanding. That is what living standards growth actually measures. Not whether Australia is richer, but whether you are. Philip Lowe served as governor of the Reserve Bank for 7 years. He raised interest rates 11 times. He oversaw the most aggressive monetary tightening in a generation. And last week, he said something that cut through the noise. Interest rates are not the problem. They are not the solution either. The real problem is productivity. Australia has not delivered meaningful productivity growth in decades. When workers produce more per hour worked, living standards rise. When they don't, even a growing economy can leave people feeling poorer. Because prices rise faster than incomes. Because housing costs more than wages can absorb. Because the services people rely on are being stretched across more people than they were designed to serve. 3 forces have brought Australia to this moment. The first is population growth without matching infrastructure. Building homes takes years. Building hospitals takes decades. The people arrived. The infrastructure has not caught up. The second is the energy transition. Australia exports more coal and gas per capita than almost any nation on Earth. But the move away from cheap coal domestically has pushed electricity prices to among the highest in the developed world, before the transition is complete enough to deliver the cheaper renewables it promised. The third is global disruption landing on an isolated economy. Every shock, the Hormuz closure, supply chain fragmentation, rare earth restrictions, hits Australia harder because there is no overland route to alternatives. Everything crosses an ocean, and every crossing now costs more. What Lowe is calling for goes beyond interest rates. Planning reform that allows more homes to be built. Energy policy that closes the affordability gap before it widens further. Investment in the technology and skills that drive real productivity gains. These are not quick fixes. They are decade-long projects, and Australia has been postponing them for decades. So what does this mean for you? The per capita recession is not a statistic. It is the gap between your income and your rent, your income and your grocery bill, your income and your energy costs. Australia's economy is growing, but the benefits of that growth are not reaching most Australians. Australia's economy can keep growing, but unless each Australian's slice grows with it, prosperity becomes a headline, not a lived experience. Subscribe to AxisShift, because the world is turning, and you should know which way.